you for that most recent donation of $25. Yeah, you don't know what to say a lot of the time when you guys are being as generous as this, because it is just pretty crazy. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. We need to get to 300 subs, you Prime MF, says Rush J. Yep, if you're Prime, you can help us push towards 300. We got a ways to go, but if we all work together, we could get there. It's been a little while since we've been on 300 subs. It'd be awesome to make it back. Anyways, for now, let's talk about our game, our matchup, our PvP. To the bottom right-hand side from Team Liquid, this is the red Protoss player. Give it up if you're cheering on MaNa. He's going up against the blue Protoss to the top left side from Asterion Esports. It is Harstem. Opening up into game number 1 of this series. Gateway and a couple of assimilators coming down to get started here. So it is King's Cove. It's a bit of a larger map, but 2 gates are generally the way you have to open in PvP, just because of how aggressive you can be due to aggressive warpins across the map and so on. We've seen a lot of 4-gate action lately. We've been seeing a lot of 1-base play in PvP, so you definitely have to open 2-gate just to have the numbers to be able to defend. Probe coming down towards the bottom right-hand side. Cybercore is just about halfway done at the moment, and just seeing the first scouts of both players popping up into the main and natural expansion. So just getting a little bit of a scout off. Cybercore about to finish up, and that's where we really start to see the tech choices being made. Even down to the first 2 units, we see differences sometimes. Stalkers versus Adepts, for example, and there you go. Adepts from Harstem and Stalkers from MaNa. And there's so many ways that this can go. The Stalkers can really be kind of, take you to a point where it's like, okay, well, look at this. We're going to play maybe a Blink opening. Or, hey, we can play in towards, Adepts can go in towards 6 Adepts. With 6 Adepts, you can actually be very aggressive with a Stargate. There's a lot of different ways to set up. So really looking out for this to see what's going on. But holy crap, Zerglin Pool Party with the $99 donation. Dudes, what on earth is going on today? You guys have been insane. This entire week has just been insane. Zerglin Pool Party for the $99. Dude, thank you so much. Holy crap. Can we get some love in the chat for Zerglin Pool Party? He already donated $50 early today as well. That's $149 in total. Absolutely crazy. Dude, thank you so much for the 149 bucks. Can you get some love in the chat, please? We also have a couple of subs as well. Guys, I'll get to you in a moment, because these Adepts can cause chaos if not dealt with correctly. But the pylon does come up, it does block off, and it does stop those Adepts from getting into the main. Okay, so that is well defended. Harstem into a Stargate here. He will go Phoenix in case of a Stargate of his opponent. But MaNa yet to throw down any tech choice means that actually Harstem will just not really need these Phoenix to defend. It's not going to be Phoenix versus Phoenix either. And it's going to get in towards just a Phoenix-based play in general. He shades the Adepts over here so that he can try and survive the Stalkers. He'll shade again to get out of here alive. And he should be able to get both Adepts out alive right now, as he will shade on out. Perfect. This map looks huge, says Chabs. Yes, it is huge. It's a macro map, and it's definitely large enough to justify that. Phoenix going up against the Robo facility as MaNa is just going to set us up into a position where it's going to be 2 base versus 2 base. So our first game of the PvP, no shenanigans at all. Alright, a couple of subs did come in using those Twitch Primes to help push us towards 300 subs per set, 269 for the moment. Giggity. Thank you so much. Jimmy Schmo 9 coming in with the Twitch Prime sub, followed instantly afterwards by Icon 2706. Thanks for checking if your primes were available. Thanks for using them on the stream. Again, it helps us to push out more StarCraft content in the future. So it really does mean a lot. It really does help us to put out more action. Animal with the $5 donation as well, saying long live StarCraft. Can you get some love in the chat for Animal too and the $5. Guys, I'll go through all these donations and subs again properly after the game. For now, we should talk a bit more about it once again though, because we are setting up into this PvP, and things are starting to get exciting because these Adepts are going to commit in, and well, even with Stalkers in position, that's going to be about 3, maybe 4 workers killed here. He'll get 1 more shot for 4 workers in total, so nicely done by Harstem. Finding some eco damage. In terms of information, by the way, and what the players know about, well, Harstem hasn't been able to see the Robo. He did initially scout this Stargate, I imagine, from MaNa, so I actually missed this while talking to chat, and that's why we should have paid more attention. But yeah, a Stargate in the main was probably built, and that's probably why Harstem built these Phoenix and started to set up into so many Phoenix. Right now he does come across the map, realizing there's obviously no Phoenix of his opponent. Sets up into a Robo of his own. And well, he will be playing behind on the Immortal count, he will be playing behind on the +1, but he will have these Phoenix to deal economic damage and to be a frustration throughout the game. And also in a fight, if you have these Phoenix still, they can lift up key units such as an Immortal or two and really kind of nullify the advantage of the Phoenix into the main. If we have a few more pros, we'll lose 1 or 2 of them though, but for 8 workers killed, it puts Harstem exactly 8 workers in the lead as well, so it does give him that eco to work with. Phoenix heading back towards the upper left-hand side, going to be gathering up in the natural expansion. More of these units of Phoenix just want to keep on kind of flying around though. Harstem obviously not going to make too many more, has to start spending his gas elsewhere right now, such as on these Immortals, into his Forge for the +1 attack, into the Twilight Council for some extra upgrades as well. So starting to set up into those there as we see these few Stalkers of MaNa able to come forward and able to get a shot off onto that Phoenix. So again, pushing it back and keeping them pinned away for the moment. Twilight Council does finish, so both players will be able to go into charge here. And there's the Templar Archives too, with the Twilight finishing, so get into Archon's MaNa with a very expected setup for the moment. Harstem is actually very gas-starved. How interesting. Very gas-starved indeed. Again, charge just starting up from Harstem right now. You see that Templar Archive still coming through as well. I want to see these guys mine out 18 bases off this map, says Doi Mazzino. Pause, go, says Harstem. Some small issue. We're going to go straight back into this. No issue at all, though. So resume right away. Third Nexus comes down here from Harstem as well. Pylon coming up as well. So Nexus, Pylon getting set up at the moment. And we will see just a couple of High Templar just getting brought into play here, as we do see that Observer getting shot down. Observer of Harstem going to be coming down in towards the natural. A couple of Stalkers, a couple of Zealots, and an Immortal gathered up at the moment. Again, the third base coming up, and, well, taking the fourth base is going to be real difficult, because this fourth base here is so open. Taking this one down here is maybe a bit more of a viable way to go about things. We actually haven't seen 4 bases on this map other than this one being taken so far. Phoenix coming down to the south. Going to be driving in towards the main base again, looking for that little bit of extra harassment, that little bit of extra damage. 4 more gates coming through. That Templar Archives coming up as well, about halfway done. And the Warp Prism popping out of the main base. So Prism comes out here from MaNa. He's still 6 workers behind, but is ahead on the +2 attack, for example. He actually didn't start charge for a very long time here, which is concerning. He's had that Twilight for so long. If a fight happens and there's charge for Harstem and not charge for MaNa, it actually makes a huge difference because of the body slam damage nowadays, and it just obviously lets Harstem get the better surround, the better concave in general. Archon, 2 Stalkers and Immortal moving in towards the upper left-hand side. 4th Nexus from MaNa taken in the forward position. Harstem will see this and will start to work his way through. Actually, is that the 3rd base of MaNa? Oh, MaNa takes this forward base as a 3rd. Well, that's going to be interesting, and we are going to be seeing these a couple of Immortals and a couple of Archons from Harstem continuing to set up on this high ground. MaNa's maybe getting ready to fight into this. He has +2, but Harstem has shield batteries on his side, and again, MaNa doesn't have charge just yet, so the Zealot's an issue from Harstem. Will get the better end of this trade. Charge is seconds away from MaNa, but by the time it's ready to go, he's not going to have the money that he needs, and MaNa is already down by 14 workers, so if this attack doesn't work, this is not going to be good for him. The Phoenix come back in, they've lifted up an Immortal. That's going to go down pretty quickly too. These Archons from MaNa are already such low hit points. They are going to keep on falling very easily as well. Zealot charging in actually helps to get that kill. Lifts up an Immortal as it takes its leave here. Another Archon cleaned out, and MaNa is just going to get completely shut down. Harstem takes the game. How this goes. Guys, we start to the bottom left-hand side of the map. Up a game is our blue Protoss player. This is Harstem. To the top right-hand side, his attack not quite working out there. The red Protoss from Team Liquid is MaNa. Okay then, first game of the PvP was fun. Actually getting into a bit of a macro game was nice, because it doesn't happen all of the time in the PvP nowadays. Again, we see a lot of very fast games. We see a lot of games that get, that kind of happen very quickly in general, you know. They happen very quickly in general. And just 4 gates, you know, fast, you know, proxy stargates. Some weird circumstances. Harstem's played some weird PvPs this tournament already. He's like, we love the $99, but where's the sub? I'm just saying, you know, I think it, you know, not always, you don't always see these high donators that aren't subscribed. I just think that's awesome too. I wasn't trying to pay out the sub. I'm just saying, dude's throwing a lot of support our way. It wasn't meant to be taken the way you've taken it. I'm sorry if it came off like that. Sorry, guys. What's up, Colin? How you doing? When's the Fortnite stream? Not for a while, dude. We're having a wild time with StarCraft today. Anyways, we get ready to go. Probe, we'll pass a probe in the middle. And we will see these workers heading off to different sides of the map. As the 2 gates and the cyber cores get set up. And we just wait to get ourselves really in towards the tech choices here. Again, we talked about in the last game the choice of going Stalkers versus Adepts. We'll see if that happens once again. Now, you see this gold base right here again. This is the most interesting part of this map for me. These rocks on this side. So if you can get up to this base, you could even maybe mine from this if you kill off these rocks. They're only 400 HP each. It's an interesting map because you can take a very far set back third base, but it is pretty open, I would say, this map in terms of being able to attack into positions. I wonder how that works out for the PvP. Alan comes down to the low ground. Stargate will start up from MaNa in the main base, so he's going to go Stargate. Again, last game I think he faked a Stargate then cancelled it, and that's why Harstem decided to commit so heavily to the Phoenix, thinking it was going to end up being Phoenix versus Phoenix, but he did figure out that it wasn't there in the end. He did start to switch it up, and obviously in the end it worked out for Harstem. It worked out just perfectly fine, so that was great for him eventually. And we do see a couple more Stalkers on the way out as we see this probe getting ready to throw down a Nexus. So Nexus is placed in a Stalker of Harstem, just moving around to see what it can get up to as well. Just checking there's nothing crazy around. He's been checking a little bit kind of here and there, just down the ramp, looking for a probe. His probe is actually going up the left side now. MaNa has a probe on the bottom, but his Stargate's already in the main, so I'm not sure if that's really going to look to truly proxy anything here. As you will see, this Stargate starting to chrono boost out this Oracle. So an Oracle on the way through for the moment. And it's ready to go. What's up, Dovenwolf coming in with the 500 bits. Dovenwolf, every time we stream, seems to be in here with a cheer in the chat. Thank you so much, Dovenwolf. Give us some love in the chat for the 500 bits, guys. Appreciate it. That's crazy. This is a Team Liquid map contest, so MaNa or TLO must win, says Zertanix. Well, Euphenomals on Team Liquid too, so, you know. But if one of those players wins, surely it's hashtag rigged, right? We can, you know, surely we can't actually just have these players winning. That'd be disgusting. Anyways, we're going to be seeing the Oracle just jumping in towards the main. The shield battery isn't ready yet, but there is units nearby, so it's actually only 2 kills, and the Oracle takes some pretty real damage right there. Harstem has a pile on top side. Looks as though MaNa never got that probe to build anything that was hiding down here. Maybe just scouted in with it. I didn't see what it got up to. Did the probe go down? Yeah, I think he just scouted with it in the end. And Harstem warping in a couple of Adepts. Just one pile on all it takes to get Adepts on the other side of the map, and they can be such a frustration. You know, you're not in position for a moment or two, and all of a sudden, boom, you're jumping in towards the main base, and you're getting a couple of probe kills because MaNa isn't ready to throw down a pylon. Even just being in the natural with only 2 Stalkers around, you can get a lot of damage done with 2 Adepts. They're so powerful against workers in the early stage of the game. It takes a lot to defend them properly, and here we go. Harstem will start to shade up the ramp. MaNa's already patrolling the probe, knowing that the threat is here, but he's going to let the Adepts in, and that from Harstem is going to be a good few kills. No, he cancels. He just goes into the natural. Okay, well, he's going to stick around here. Meanwhile, Oracle's picked up 4 probes of Harstem's Mineral Line, so these guys are actually just trading out workers at the moment. Now the Adepts will shade up, but this time they will be blocked, but they're going to be on top of the probes anyways, so they will still get a few more kills. MaNa needs to start sending them back to work, but they're still going to be pulled through the Adepts. And it will be 9 workers killed in total. Yeah, unlucky for MaNa, that maybe shouldn't have been so much damage done. That said, it's only a 3 worker difference between the 2 of them. As we actually do see, once again, an Adept in the main base. So actually now Harstem has to do with an Adept in the main as he has Oracles on the natural. Now Harstem's actually down 5 workers, though he does get 1 of the Oracle kills. And he's going into a very fast blink here, so by going into this faster blink, it's going to allow MaNa sorry, actually, MaNa has the faster blink, so he's going to be able to be aggressive with the Stalkers. Harstem has the faster +1. Very interesting at the moment. Very intrigued to see where this turns out. What's up, Stavester? Had that donation earlier now with the tier 1 sub. Welcome to the family, dude. Thank you so much for subscribing as well. Got some love in the chat for Stavester. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Blink is coming along, just about halfway done on that Twilight Council. The Forge dropping down as well. Hallucinated Phoenix will continue toward the upper right-hand side of the map, so still just flying around, looking to see what's up. This one starts from MaNa. One thing he will be behind on all game is those upgrades, most likely. Although, I mean, Harstem didn't start +2 yet. Harstem down by about 8 workers. Still has to consider that and realize that he is going to be, again, trailing in that regard. He's also not going to have Blink, so MaNa has advantages of his own. Both players, pros and cons with the gateway that this game has played out so far. We will see this Oracle continuing down to the bottom left-hand side. A few Stalkers continue to come forwards as well, and again, just going to see that blink up, using that high ground vision. There's some Stalkers here. The Immortal will pop out in a moment. Nice little pullback just to wait. Now, Blink's going to be off cooldown, so this Immortal might actually be kited pretty well. And we will see just one Stalker killed in the end. Honestly, not so bad on either side of this. Nice revelation from the Oracle to keep track of where that army is. Will allow the Stalkers to know when they can maybe jump back into the main base, or where he's going to have to be very cautious of. As you do see these Stalkers position themselves down to the south, getting ready to push into the natural, and here we go. Couple Stalkers forcing the blink away. Okay, MaNa. I don't think MaNa can do much now, because if he blinks in the main, he's going to jump on an Immortal with a few Stalkers supporting it. This isn't enough Stalkers to really do that. Ooh, a little bit of a miscontrol there. The pathing not perfect, as we're going to be seeing those Stalkers continue to back away off over to the right-hand side. Oh my god, a circling pool party with the tier 3 sub. Dude, thank you so much. I genuinely wasn't trying to bait you into subscribing. Now I feel awkward. Thank you so much for the tier 3 sub though, dude. Can we get some more love in the chat for circling pool party? Is that even possible with how much love we've given today? I hope so. He deserves it. Catches the Warp Prism. Harstem. His attempt to be aggressive here may just very well be shut down by that. He will continue onwards anyways. He does have an army supply lead. 2 Archons started morph in, but not morphed in yet. Even a couple of shots on these right away could be a good start to this from Harstem. The Zealots actually push the Archons forwards as the Zealots come in. Guardian Shields come up. Immortal here to help out. The Archons, though, are just going to add so much splash damage to this, and MaNa is very easily pushing this away. The upgrades are even on both sides again. Harstem, without reinforcements, without the micro potential, is not really going to be able to make this work. And again, he doesn't have the blink. He doesn't have charge like MaNa does. MaNa has all of the advantages here, and that's a GG. Harstem taps out for MaNa to tie us up 1-1. Guys, let's go back into this. About 273 subscribers, by the way. I just want to quickly mention that that's crazy. Only 27 away from 300. We're really making a push that could realistically hit 300, which is... I mean, that's just incredible to be pushing back in that direction once again. Shout out to all you guys for being awesome. Top right-hand side, the blue Protoss player from Asterion Esports is Harstem, dropping the ball a little bit on Automaton and dropping that map. And this map by Sangloon is New Repugnancy, and in the bottom left of it is the red Team Liquid player MaNa. So far, there's a Team Liquid player in the round of 4, New Thermal, in the round of 8 in TLO, and in the round of 12 still as MaNa. If MaNa can advance here, Team Liquid will be having one hell of a tournament. Snoot didn't play this tournament. He was away this weekend, so he wasn't able to play the playoffs, which is a shame, but yeah. Chronobist coming down as we see a couple of gates on the way up, and just getting ready to roll into these into this game. New Repugnancy comes in from the macro section of the maps as well. I kind of like New Repugnancy. It's kind of like in the middle of the ground for me, because I kind of feel like I like the layout, the aesthetics, but I'm just not quite sure how well these 3 and 4 bases work. Just the games we've seen, people seem to be punishing them a lot more easily than it feels like they should be able to, and so on. It's been interesting to say the least. As we do see this probe of MaNa hopping up in toward the main base. Is going to come on through here, and is going to run around to just be a bit of a nuisance on this mineral line. So, just being a bit of an annoyance here, this probe continue moving around from Harstem as we do see a couple of Stalkers from MaNa on the way out. Warp gate on the way up as well from the Cybernetics core. And this probe also just coming around the left-hand side. So that's getting set up and ready to go. Stalker and a Sentry will be popping out here very soon. A very different opening from Harstem. A Sentry gives you a lot of scouting information because of the ability to hallucinate. It actually really gives you a lot of information very early on. So that's something to keep in mind here setting up into this, that Harstem will have a lot more info than usual. And generally, with the Robo coming down as well, this will look to be an expansion in the near future. And it can then turn into an aggressive attack as a follow-up because you have Sentries with energy and Immortals. You can actually use those combined very well. On the other side of things, the Stargate from MaNa is hidden away in the corner of his base. So 2 different tech structures to get going in game number 3. Again, the winner of this will go on to match point. We're yet to see a map 5 today. It would be great if we could see it at some point. It would be nice to get one ace match in here. We've actually had a lot of one-sided series so far. As we do see the Stalker just moving around. Liberated, love your name. Thank you so much for the subscription. Yes, as a Terran player, that's why one of the phrases I stand by. Is it an issue? Yes? Liberate it. Boom. Hashtag liberated. Well, 4 Stalkers pushing forwards, and with the Phoenix coming in, this is actually going to get very aggressive from MaNa. He is still only on 2 gateways, but the Phoenix will really nullify the units here from Harstem to some extent. Harstem already up to the high ground. Great force field. Will actually trap the units kind of half and half on this high ground. These couple of Stalkers on the low ground now will just derp around. That Sentry is chased, but this Immortal will get the kill. Another Phoenix on the way out is needed here to actually come in and lift this Immortal, take out the equation. Harstem now with a Warp Prism coming out, but I'm not sure how much that will allow him to do. One of the 2 Sentries killed. His Nexus still finishing up. He's very far ahead if he can keep the Nexus alive. Now MaNa adds on an extra gateway. It looks as though he's going to continue with this, but Harstem adds on 2 more gates as well, so he's also going to have decent unit production here. Coming back down the low ground, that might be a mistake because the Immortal's lifted immediately. The Stalkers are going to jump on it, and Harstem just doesn't have the supply at the moment, or the army units, to really push against this. His units are so spread out in what they're doing as well. Some attacking the Stalkers, some attacking the Phoenix. No real kind of full decision, and I feel like killing the Phoenix would have been nice, but now the Stalker number's already getting out of control, and Harstem is in just a little bit of trouble. Warp Prism here from Harstem is going to lift up these few Stalkers, bring them in towards the main base. Stalkers continuing forwards and going to work their way through this pylon. Pylon will be killed, and a couple of Warp Gates unpowered here. Again, the Phoenix are going to be, well, just helping out a lot. Another Immortal coming out, and that's the issue. As soon as this Immortal is out, boom, Phoenix just lifted, and it's not going to be anywhere near as useful as Harstem would like it to be. He really needs to get some power back onto these gateways. It's one of the big issues he has at the moment, as we'll see pushing down this ramp. Well, he has force field, so he can trap a couple of Stalkers in here. There's the Immortal lift up. The Phoenix are just sort of sat here for the moment. Warp Prism over here. Maybe he could have put the Warp Prism down over onto the gateways and actually would have been able to power the gateways. Warp Prism will be killed. Harstem's just going to type out GG. He can't fight this, and MaNa just ridiculous. To the upper right-hand side. Give him your energy if you want to see him winning this. To the top right, our Blue Protoss. It's Harstem. In the top left-hand side from Team Liquid, it's MaNa. On match point here in the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 3. The 3rd WardiTV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament anyways. Harstem will throw out a pause. And it looks as though we can resume nice and quickly without issue. So again, this is Bubbles. If you're wondering what on earth Wardy's talking about. Hi Bubbles, how are you doing today? Hidden up in the top side of the map, and I don't really think anyone truly knows what this is just yet. Some people do, some people that are really in touch with the StarCraft lore. I just know him as that 8-eyed, tentacle-faced friend here on Year 0. Even if we don't get an ace match, this has been a good series, but hopefully we get one. Says AFS for the cause. I definitely can get behind that idea. Would love to see a 4th map coming in. A 5th map coming in, sorry. It'd just be nice to get one 5th map of the entire day, right? It'd be pretty great. Probe coming forwards and will be thrown down a gateway, so 2nd gate coming down. And a couple of gates again just gathered up over here from MaNa 2. This probe just going to continue across to the other side of the map. So probe heading over to the right hand side. And Harstem going to scout as well. No surprises here to start off on Year 0. This map by Avex may be one of the most well-known map makers in the community. If you guys aren't aware of Avex, well, you play a lot on Blackpink, I'm sure. Backwater is a map you'll remember. Invader, Odyssey. Maker of a lot of very strong maps. And a map maker that's very kind of well known within the community because of his presence, kind of in streams, talking to players, talking to people who will test his maps regularly. One of his maps made it into the WardiTV ladder map pool. They used his map a lot of the time then to kind of promote map makers a bit and stuff like that. It's been pretty cool. There's a Nexus getting set up here, probe on the way out, and we are just going to be seeing this Stargate of MaNa currently coming up on the side of the main base. So Stargate coming through, a couple of Adepts on the way out also, as this probe just going to be chased away by this probe of Harstem. Tactical pause, says the Pool Party. As we are going to be seeing the Stargate just over 60% of the way done right now. A couple of Stalkers on the way out from Harstem as well. I'll be able to chase up here and grab that probe perhaps in the next few moments. So, able to come up here and deal with that as a couple of Adepts on the way as well. They're going to be finishing up. Again, the Stargate from MaNa means he's already going Phoenix once again. Similar start to what we've seen before, as we do see the Nexus dropping down from Harstem. And it does mean that maybe MaNa can just go for a similar sort of setup where he's going to be able to perhaps get aggressive here nice and quickly. Harstem will not commit with those Adepts. 4 Adepts of MaNa will really scare him away from committing into this here. There is the Robo facility from MaNa too, and actually Harstem just throws down a 3rd gateway. So Harstem's going to have a bunch of gateways with this Nexus at the moment, but still no real tech to utilize. These 2 Adepts actually commit in and he recalls them away. Ah, that's cute. He'll get away with both the Adepts and kills the probe on the low ground trying to make the Nexus. That was actually really nice from Harstem. Recall, the one thing I love about Recall is that these cool little players like this allow, it just creates a bit more variety and kind of cool moments in the game. The one thing I don't like about Recall is how powerful it can be recalling an entire army away from a weird spot or from a tough position where you've been out-positioned or something along those lines, perhaps. So, my relationship with Recall is a little bit of love-hate. Not gonna lie. Phoenix coming up to the top side. There's Immortal from MaNa on the way out, rallied to this pylon here, and we do just see a few Adepts starting to wander forwards as well. Probes going down here. I mean, MaNa does have these Phoenix and he can use them to harass, but the more of the energy they use on these probes, the less energy they have to use on the army. And that's maybe going to be an issue because Harstem has just a ton of units right now, and it's weird because he doesn't have any follow-up to this. Still no tech on the map, still no Robo, still no Twilight. He doesn't even have a proxied pylon to reinforce. As he comes across the map here, I mean, MaNa is going to wait for him with an Immortal. What is Harstem's plan? I mean, he throws down a pylon at the front now. Here we go. Phoenix will lift up one of these units. He will target down one Phoenix, though. Gets rid of that for the future. A couple of Adepts in the front as well. He will actually get rid of another Phoenix here. Oh, but he needs to get rid of this Immortal, and this Immortal will start to go down now, but now he's only down to 4 Stalkers. Kills off another Phoenix. Harstem will open in 3 more. Still looking to stay aggressive. Another Immortal's ready to go. There's still 1 lift available on these Phoenix too. Pylon on the low ground, taking some hits. If you could stop that warping, that'd be great. That one Phoenix in the Stalker in the front, kind of sacrificing itself, saying, hey, you should probably lift me if you're going to lift anything. Going back here, there is that Immortal, doesn't have barrier anymore, so it is a little bit vulnerable. Harstem opening another couple Stalkers, building probes behind it, and a sentry now, so you can try and force field maybe the Immortal in or so. Fun fact, the 8-eyed tentacle creature on your hero is in fact Avex himself. Oh, that's funny. Turns out Avex actually wanted to be in one of the maps himself. Oh, I like that. That made me giggle, as you can hear. Harstem is going to pull away. His attack was over. He decided not to commit any further. Still free Phoenix from MaNa to apply some more pressure. As we see the Stalkers backing away. He's going into Twilight and a Forge at home, but he'll still be down on that Immortal count, of course. 2 Immortals currently up for MaNa, and of course, as Harstem plays somewhat of a catch-up, he still has to deal with these Phoenix as well. Stalkers getting a couple shots off. 4 Phoenix, man. There's a lot of lifts available again if it comes to some sort of a fight. Still no robo facility at all from Harstem either. If MaNa had thrown down a Dark Shrine at any stage of this game, Harstem would be rolling in his grave already. Maybe he could get a cannon up, but he really would struggle. Phoenix battling away. Charge immediately here from Harstem, going into the +1 attack as well. It's just interesting to see. I mean, maybe he just plays a Zealot Archon attack, right? It would make sense. No robo, but still going to be missing out on a fast warp ins, right? With the lack of a warp prism. Phoenix lifts this Adept to minimize its further damage, and it is going to be 4 workers killed, though still by Harstem as he sneaks into the main base there. Harstem's come out of this with an 8-worker lead, so I have to say he's really played it out well as a follow-up. I'm just afraid of what MaNa can do on the counter-attack and so on. It's starting to come across the map right now. And this Warp Prism with 2 Immortals inside is very scary. You know what would have really made you a 0? If this dude had a neutral missile turret on his head, so it's killed all the units that flew past him. That would have been the biggest meme of all. Stalker's getting to work here to try and target down the Phoenix, which are lifting up the units that are being brought in for defense. Zealot's being warped in to try and help out against the Immortals, but there just isn't the units right now. Units coming in from the main base, but obviously that's when the Warp Prism just lifts up and leaves the Immortals out of there. MaNa picks up a lot of damage, and Harstem doesn't really deal any damage at all at the moment. Phoenix sentries, a couple of Zealots gathering up again as we see these 2 Adepts, and these 2 Zealots going to fight away against these Adepts. Zealot getting lifted up by the Phoenix, and a few more Adepts warping in right now for MaNa. They're going to get ready to push up in towards the natural here in the next few moments, and Robo Facility drops from Harstem, so finally moving towards this. He has got Templar Archives, but yet to see the first Archon. He's got 1 High Templar, which I imagine he wants to use to feed back a Phoenix before he actually commits to the Archon morph. It's actually something we see a lot of the time. However, MaNa is warping in an army to push up this ramp and to maybe try and win this series right here and now. There's no shield batteries. There's Phoenix to take units out of the equation for Harstem. I just don't know what you do right now. Again, Harstem, he's going to come in and, well, he doesn't even get a chance to feed back with the High Templar. Now he morphs in an Archon, but I'm not sure how well that's going to go. He starts to pull his probes in too, but MaNa just seems to have a little bit too much right now, and MaNa looks like he wants to make the round of 8 of this Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament. Harstem's +1 will not be enough to save him here. He cancels +2 to get a bit more money to warp in again, but he's actually just missing the minerals, and again, he just cannot regain control of his natural. GG. MaNa goes to the quarterfinals here. If your team